Hi everyone, good to be live with you once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon where you are in this beautiful world. Wherever you are in this beautiful world, it's good to be with you in the here and now. Feel so good today, feel such gratitude, feel such appreciation, feel such inspiration to be here together. What a gift. To truly, deeply be here together. And to see and feel familiar faces checking in. But when we're in this deep state of presence, when we're in this deep state of being in the now, in the moment together, being together, feels like enough, feels full, feels like more than enough, feels like almost overwhelmingly enough. So it's so good to be with you and to be together. And we'll explore that deeper in a few moments. For now, we're just going to ground a little bit in this energy, allow some other people to tune in. Join us. This is episode number 34. So there's 33 more little slices of magic and miracles and amazingness if you want to check the page and see the playbacks. And it feels like there'll be many more to come together as we co-create this journey together. So we're grounding in presence together. Grounding in the being, grounding in the sense of being. This can be called meditation, but it doesn't need to be called that. Allowing our thoughts to be as they are, allowing our feelings to be as they are, allowing our sensory perceptions to be as they are, allowing our external sensory perceptions and internal sensory perceptions to be exactly as they are. Paying attention to the breath, slow, deep breaths, feeling this electromagnetic frequency, this resonant field. Of attunement coming into being as we bring our attention to each other, to this moment. Allowing ourselves to be clear channels for the magic and the miracles that want to arise, for the insights, the inspirations, the intuitions, the epiphanies, the shifts, the awakenings in consciousness that want to happen in this time frame together. Opening, receiving the light that we are, allowing it to shine in the fullness of this being that is ever present as an infinite reflection of the one and only infinite divine light that is you and I, always and forever. And so it is. Amen. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. When you're ready, open your eyes with fresh, innocent eyes as if you're seeing life for the first time, and just take a few moments to look around the space in silence. Notice if things feel more alive, colorful, vibrant, present, here, now. And welcome to a deeper here and now. Hello Mina Heel, hello Danielle, hello Lisa. Hi Pinar. So, what is it that we as human beings want the most, more than anything in the world? You know, I've led workshops and retreats and classes all over the world, many different continents, and have sessions with people, personal sessions with people all over the world, many different continents. So many different cultures, many different kinds of people from many different walks of life. And many people from all over the world tune into these episodes that we're sharing here. And what I've discovered is that all around the world, either difference in cultures or lifestyle or hi Nisha, differences in personality, etc. What people want the most, more than anything, is universally the same. And they try to achieve it, they try to accomplish it in different ways. They may try to accumulate money or possessions or status or physical beauty, family, etc. There's many different strategies to accomplish this same intention of what people want the most. What do people want the most? Welcome back, Heather. More than anything. What I discovered people want the most, more than anything, I know I build these things up a bit, so just, you know, it's part of the fun. You can have like a drum roll. Is to be seen. To be really, truly, deeply seen. This is what people long for the most. They feel like someone really sees them. To be heard. To be really, truly, deeply heard. To feel like someone really hears them. Who they really are. Now, here's what's interesting. And here's where it gets fun. What do people fear the most? Around the world, in all these different cultures, all these different places, all these different personality types, all these different characters. What people fear the most, and what feels the most scary to people, is to be seen. To be truly deeply seen and to be truly deeply heard is what we fear the most, which is the most scary, which is the most vulnerable. So now we have an amazing realization. What we want the most and what we fear the most are the exact same thing. When you realize this, that what we want the most is to be seen, truly deeply seen and truly deeply heard, and what we fear the most is to be truly deeply seen and truly deeply heard, now you realize the amazing drama of human relationships around the world and how they play themselves out. and how the learning and growing comes into being through our relating. So what we long for the most, what we want the most, what's the most fulfilling in our lives by far, is a true deep sense of intimacy in our lives. And what we fear the most is a true deep sense of intimacy. So there's lots of reasons why we fear intimacy, and I can just name a few of them. It generally has to do around self-worth. So we feel like if someone really truly sees who I am, then they'll see the kind of person I really am, and they won't like me anymore. So I want to be liked, I want to be loved, so I'm going to try to kind of play this character, or I'm going to try to kind of play this role, or I'm kind of like show this part of myself, but not so much like this part of myself. I'm going to kind of hide this aspect, or kind of gloss over this aspect. Because if I'm really truly seen, and really truly seenly heard, and I'm discovered, and people see who I really am and what I really am, they won't love me, they won't like me. They'll think I'm weird, they'll think I'm strange, they'll think I'm a bad person, they'll see what kind of bad thoughts I have, they'll see what kind of bad emotions I have, they'll see what kind of bad experiences I have, they'll see physically, they'll see the kind of bad moments I have. So all of this I don't want. I'm afraid of that, I'm scared of that, and that's the depth of connection, and really the only depth of connection that will really ever truly fulfill us and satisfy us. Why is that? And I'm seeing I'm kind of glancing and seeing some wonderful comments. We'll touch on those a little bit as we get into a little more of a flow here first. This deepest sense of intimacy is only thing that will fulfill us the most, because this deepest sense of intimacy is the truth. That's why. This deepest sense of intimacy is the truth. To live in a sense of separation, to live in a sense of division, to live in a sense of compartmentalization, is to live a lie. To live in a sense of communion, union, harmony, beyond separation, beyond any illusion of separation, beyond any illusion of any illusion of separation, division, compartmentalization, an absolute sense of oneness, beyond even the term oneness, beyond even the idea of oneness, is the truth. So what we really want, what we really long for, is to live in the truth, in the essence of who and what we are. And intimacy is the essence of the universe. You walk through a forest and look at the way the trees interact with the birds, and which interacts with the land and the soil and the rain and the worms and the squirrels, and there's this profound sense of intimacy, of interconnection beyond any sense of division or separation. So nature can be an opening to this truth. Nature can bring us this insight through observing nature, through spending time in nature, through observing the patterns, observing the flow, observing the rhythms. And the realization comes into being that we are nature. We are part of nature. We are one with nature. We are one with all that is, which means really we are one with this moment, right now, and right here. So the gateway to intimacy is to be authentic, truly, deeply, fully, wholly, completely authentic to this moment right now. To be authentic to this moment right now, in this moment, in this moment, in this moment, in each moment, right here and now. So there's a sense of openness, vastness, vulnerability, nakedness, rawness, and in that, there's a tremendous sense of liberation. There's a tremendous sense of release. There's a tremendous sense of peace, tremendous sense of freedom, tremendous sense of empowerment. There's a saying, the truth will set you free. So in this space of being in the truth of the moment, the authenticity of the moment, there's a freedom, there's the ultimate freedom, and there's the ultimate connection and ultimate communion. And we don't think generally of both of those going together. Love and freedom. But this is where they come together. The greatest, most powerful sense of freedom and the greatest, most powerful sense of love together as one. And we realize that they're two different words actually for the exact same thing. In this awakening, there's the deepest, profound sense of intimacy. So the intimacy starts with ourselves, starts with being intimate with ourselves, being intimate with our thoughts, being intimate with our emotions, being intimate with our body, intimate with our feelings, intimate with our experiences, intimate with our memories, intimate with our dreams, embracing all these parts of ourselves and embracing all these parts of ourselves and loving all these parts of ourselves and being fully, deeply, wholly in communion with all these parts of ourselves as they arise moment by moment, which allows us to be in communion with another, wholly, fully, deeply, and with the world. Because the world, myself, you, we're all existing in this moment. So to be fully, deeply in communion with this moment is to be fully, deeply in communion with you, with myself, and with all that is alive, breathing, moving, shifting, changing, growing, evolving, devolving, moment by moment. From the depth of present moment awareness. Hi, Root. Such a beautiful international contingent here. I really appreciate that and appreciate you. So one more component to bring in, which is very essential, to be in the state, the space, the awareness of this deepest, wholest, fullest, most profound intimacy, moment by moment, from the space of the deepest, most profound, fullest authenticity, moment by moment. And this is the scary part. Means embracing the unknown. Means living in the unknown. Resting in the unknown. Feeling at rest, feeling deeply at rest in the unknown. Really as the essence of who you are. So I was joking with some folks. I was leading I don't know what to call the things I do, but a class or a meditation with some people, an event, a meeting, a satsang, a communion of love and ecstasy with some people, And we're sitting in a group in the room, and we're going to this question of like, who are you? Who are you? Go really deep, go really honestly, go really truthfully into who you are. Who is the spiritual essence of who you are? And the realization was, like, people were like, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. Is that the truth? Is that the truth that you don't know who you are? Yes. And it's always been the truth. The sense of not knowing who I am, not knowing who we are, not knowing who you are, not knowing who I am, not knowing what that tree is, not knowing what the cloud is, not knowing what a bird is, not knowing what a squirrel is, not knowing what the sky is, not knowing what the grass is. So there's this sense of not knowing. We're lying to ourselves. We're telling ourselves lies. We're deceiving ourselves. We don't really know who we are. We don't really know who the other people are. We don't really know who our husband is. We don't really know who our wife is. We don't really know who our children are. We don't know who our uncles and aunts are. We don't know our neighbors. We don't know our coworkers. We don't know ourselves. There's this sense of not knowing. So we get honest with ourselves, and we're in this space of not knowing. I don't know who I am. I really don't know who I am. And then, as I told the group, the realization is that you've been right all along. You've always had the truth that you don't know who you are. And you live in that truth that not knowing is a space of no thought, no mind, no story. You go so deep into the space of not knowing that there's a vastness, there's an infinite space that transcends time, that transcends form. And this is the true essence of who we are. So in the not knowing, not in knowing, but in the not knowing, we realize and discover the essence of who we are. I realize and discover the essence of who I am. I realize and discover the essence of who you are. I realize and discover the essence of a tree, of a flower, of a neighbor, of a friend. In the not knowing. And in this not knowing, there's a sense of magic, there's a sense of wonder, there's a sense of miraculousness, there's a sense of awe, or what could be called awesomeness, this sense of wonder, this sense of lawnmowers with loud engines outside. And from this sense of not knowing, something arises, something appears. A thought appears, a feeling appears, an insight appears, a sensation in the body appears. So this is what we call the relative world of form. And this relative world of form is always changing, always moving, always evolving. It's always changing in myself. It's always changing in yourself. It's always changing in everybody that we relate with. It's always changing in the world around us. So we embrace the unknown as the ground of who we are. And we rediscover ourselves in each and every moment. So every thought is an amazing new discovery. Every feeling is an amazing new discovery. Every sensation is an amazing new discovery in myself and in you, right? So we're paying attention. We're in a state of great awareness and alertness, a relaxed state of excitement, a relaxed state of presence. And I'm rediscovering you in each and every moment. And you're rediscovering me in each and every moment. And now, in this openness to discover the authenticity of what's arising in each moment from the place of unknown, we have this true depth of communion, this true depth of intimacy, and the freedom and the love and the peace that's ever present, that shines forth without any sense of division, without any sense of resistance, without any sense of contraction. And if and when that sense of resistance arises, that sense of egoic contraction, because we're in a collective consciousness. So, and the collective consciousness has a tremendous amount of resistance and contraction in it. So when that arises, then we are intimate with that. You see the beauty of this? Then we're intimate with the contraction, with the resistance. We're intimate with whatever's arising, moment by moment. And there's this profound sense of intimate communion with life, this unconditional love, which loves the conditions, but isn't bound by them. This unconditional love of what is, moment by moment, authentically. And the authenticity brings the inherent sense of intimacy, which is actually already the case, which is the essence of the universe. So we align ourselves with the truth of what is. Now to practice that, to practice and explore that in relating with two people is really beautiful, and what's really is the new paradigm essence of what relating is and what it's about. What could be called a spiritual partnership, a soulmate, twin flame, etc. But not as an idea, not as a rigid concept, just as a shared movement into authentic relating together. Then to bring that into a group of 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 10 people, 20 people. Phenomenal. The way that the electricity of the circuitry is now we're unified in one consciousness in the deepest, most profound sense of intimacy. We don't even necessarily have to be physically touching each other. The intimacy is in the space because there's no sense of separation. There's this presence. And you can even feel it through these wires, through what we call the internet. Because we are connected, we are one, and through a shared focal point, there's a resonant field of presence that we are a part of. And we can feel ourselves opening to, and you can feel just the expansion of these openness of the hearts and the love and the presence that supports us, and we're connected like a seamless coat, like a feedback loop that just brings the vibration higher and higher without resistance or contraction. And if you notice resistance or contraction, then you embrace that, and you, in doing so, you transmute it, you alchemize it, and bring it into the spiral. Hello, Sylvia. So good to have you with us. Thank you, Nandal Kusawa. Where are you from, sir? I'm gonna check some of the other comments here. Pinar is joining us from Turkey, where there's been some turbulence, shall we say, government and militarily wise. So glad she's with us. Yes, Heather. Heather says, yes, that's the tough part, the unknown, keeping the mind from holding us back. Kavita's good, Lisa. Definitely even terrorists. Mexico. Hola, Parado. Yeah, we're so blessed, you know. We're just so blessed. We're so blessed to experience this theater, this theater of pleasure and pain and happiness and sadness, and it's such a wonderful Academy Award-winning, Oscar-winning movie, you know, of which God's playing all the roles, all the parts. Yeah, I've heard about that. There's a lot of turbulence in the world right now in so many different places. But just remember, you know, the important thing to remember is that when something is ending, there's the turbulence, there's a sense of something is ending. And at that ending, something new is wanting to be brought into being, you know? Something new is wanting to be brought into being. Like the butterfly that comes from the caterpillar. So there's a lot of turbulence, chaos, things are collapsing. But something new wants to be brought into being and wants to emerge. So there's tremendous opportunity right now for this new shit that's awakening consciousness to express itself in this world. And we are that. We are the torchbearers. Our hearts are the torchbearers. You know, so just remember the full perspective. When you see something little, small, narrow thing, just remember the fuller perspective. You know, the wider perspective. To build freshly, what does that mean, Pinar? To build like the new, the next level of expression that wants to express itself in the world. And also, most importantly, remember that whatever happens or doesn't happen, this timeless essence is unchanging. And as well, someone's mowing their lawn right down that way, which is why it's a very loud sound. But we embrace that and we feel it. It's like a reminder that even God mows the lawn as the expression of this lovely being down here. Something is ending. And when there's an ending, there's a beginning. There's a line at the end of my book, Big Glow, says, every ending is a new beginning. So, these old dinosaur systems, which are not built in intimacy, right? They're built in everything that's the opposite of intimacy. And transparency and authenticity and open sharing and receptivity and vulnerability. That's what's coming into being. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pinar. And I think that's why, you know, everything happens for a reason. So the lawnmower noise is like a sign of, on a smaller scale, of what we're pointing to on a larger scale, which is that whatever is happening in the external world, there's the possibility of the deepest, most profound, intimate peace imaginable. See you in the next now.